The Premier League is the biggest and most affluent league in the world, attracting the greatest viewer numbers. And as a result, this means that all the clubs tend to have a very high transfer budget and as a result, a high transfer record. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at the 20 teams of this year's Premier League and rank their top transfer record that they've had in their club's existence. And some of these clubs, of course, haven't been a Premier League team for that long. Nevertheless, our first team with the lowest amount on the list is Brentford, one of the newer clubs to English football's top flight, and this is reflected in their most expensive transfer for the club, which came in 2021 at 13.5 million for the Norwegian international Kristoffer Ajer from Celtic. The Norwegian is still with the club and helped them with a 13th overall last year, so not bad. Next on the list, surprisingly, we have Southampton, who have produced many great players that have generated masses of transfer fees for the club. But in terms of their own transfer record, it stands with Danny Ings from Liverpool in 2019 at a mere 20 million. Ings stayed with the club for 2 seasons and left Aston Villa in 2021 for 25 million. So they actually got a profit of 5 million, so not bad from Southampton. Brighton's record transfer signing came in 2021 from Red Bull Salzburg, and it was 20.7 million for their midfielder Moepo. Moepo played a season for the club. However, on the 10th of October 2022, Moepo unfortunately had to retire from professional football at the age of just 24 after being diagnosed with a rare hereditary heart condition, which was very sad indeed. Our 17th highest transfer record is Fulham, who broke their transfer record in 2018 when they signed Marseille star Andre Frank Sambo Anguissa for 22.8 million, and he stayed with the club until 2022 when he signed for Napoli for 15 million euros and apparently has flourished as a player. Bournemouth broke the bank in 2018 as well when they signed Jefferson Lerma from Levante. Lerma is still with the club and has played 155 league games for them, and the Colombian defensive midfielder cost them 25 million back in the day. At the same fee, we have Nottingham Forest, who are a mighty club that have returned to the top flight for the first time in a while, and the record transfer of the 25 million came for the attacking midfielder Morgan Gibbs-White from Wolverhampton. Despite not having been in the Premier League for a while, Leeds United's comeback also generated an interesting transfer when they signed Rodrigo from Valencia in 2020 for 26 million. The Spanish international is still with the club and is in his 3rd season already, having scored most of the goals in the league for Leeds this year. Crystal Palace forked out a massive 32 million for Belgian international striker at the time Christian Benteke in 2016, and it remains the club's record. Benteke stayed with the club for 6 seasons with not the greatest success after his first season where he scored 15 league goals, and now the Belgian resides with the American club DC United. Next on our list, we have Aston Villa, who broke their transfer record by signing Emiliano Buendia from Norwich for 33 million in 2021 after he was voted the championship player of that season. He seems to have adapted well to Aston Villa as he is in his 2nd season with the club. Staying in the Birmingham area, Wolverhampton broke their transfer record in 2022 with a 38 million transfer fee for Mateus Nunes from Sporting Lisbon after he was in the Primeira Liga Team of the Year. Everton broke their transfer record in 2027 and it still stands at that for 40 million when they signed Icelandic international Gylfi Sigurdsson, who came from Swansea. He played over 130 matches in his 5 years with the club, but they didn't extend his contract in 2022 after some controversy, and the Icelandic forward still remains the most expensive player to Everton. Leicester City might have won the Premier League back in 2016, but in 2019 they broke their transfer record with Belgian international star Yuri Talisman from Monaco for 40 million. Yuri Talisman is still with the club after 4 seasons, so it really does show what a good signing the talented Belgian has been. 8th on our list is West Ham, who was another club that broke the bank in 2022 with a record transfer fee of £55 million for Lucas Paqueta from Lyon. The Brazilian international was on the Ligue 1 Team of the Year in 2022 to 2021 season. Tottenham are next with a transfer record of £55 million that they paid for Tanguy Ndombele from Lyon in 2019. Since he joined, he has played 63 times in the league for Tottenham, but currently he's on his second loan spell, this time being with Napoli, so this doesn't bode too well for a player that you would consider one of your best. Heading further up in terms of the country, Newcastle have recently gotten some new owners, and it didn't last long before the transfer record was shattered when they signed Real Sociedad Swedish international Alexander Isak for £63 million. And of course, it's very early to tell how he'll do, but so far he's doing very well and could definitely be the new striking hero that they've been searching for so many years. Now coming into the last five, and first we have Arsenal, who have a huge transfer fee of £72 million that they paid to Lille for their striker Nicolas Pepe back in 2019 after he scored 22 goals in Ligue 1. Since joining Arsenal, it hasn't been the big blast as hoped, as he's only managed to get double figures in the league once in the 2020-2021 season, and he's currently on loan at Nice, so not really where you would be sending a superstar player, if I'm honest. Fourth on our list is Liverpool, one of the biggest clubs in the world, and in 2018 they splashed the cash and signed Virgil van Dijk from Southampton for £75 million to make the Dutchman the most expensive player in the world. Van Dijk is still with the club and has managed in his time to win the Champions League and Premier League, so definitely not a bad sign, and he's even been voted Premier League Player of the Year in 2018-2019. Just ahead of them, we have their rivals of Manchester United, who have had many great players throughout the years, but the one that broke the bank for them was Paul Pogba from Juventus in 2016 for £89 million. And this is quite weird, as in 2012 Paul Pogba was a Manchester United player and left after contract negotiations fell through, and it was one of the bitter sagas for Alex Ferguson. Coming in at number 2, we have Chelsea, who is one of the clubs that introduced expensive signings to English football when Roman Abramovich overtook the club. Their most expensive player was Romelu Lukaku, not in 2011 when he signed from Anderlecht, that was for £10 million, but in 2021, when, very similar to Manchester United, they re-signed an old player, and this time for Inter Milan. The total fee for Lukaku was £97.5 million from Inter Milan, and he's still with the club. Since his expensive move, Lukaku managed to score 8 goals for Chelsea that season and has since returned to Inter Milan on a loan, so not really the best success for that amount of money. Coming in at number 1, we have the big spenders of the Premier League of late, Manchester City, who have spent more than most of the league combined in transfers, but their most expensive signing was surprisingly England international Jack Grealish in 2021 from Aston Villa for a league record of £100 million, and that also makes him the 6th most expensive transfer of all time, so quite a sensational record from the Englishman. Nevertheless, that's it for our list of ranking the 20 most expensive transfer records in terms of the Premier League club. As always, make sure to comment down below what you think of the transfers. Did any of these clubs pay too much or too little? And subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And with that, have a nice day.